Welcome to the starting point. We focus on 3 P's, that is purpose, passion, and profit. We're all about how to make and turn our purpose and passions and make some profits. I don't believe in having your side hustle and your main hustle. I believe that there should be an alignment. What you do in your day-to-day life should be aligned to your dreams, your purpose, your mission, your goals, and we should be able to make money from that thing. Today, I'm asking you guys a question that I asked myself, and it took me a bit of time to really fully get to a space where I could fully answer it. And for a long time, I would say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. But I had to go away and figure it out and do the work. Just a disclaimer, this isn't your cute little podcast that you can just listen to and do nothing. Like, we're working here. This is all about personal development, self growth, motivation, transformation. Transformation is the word. Yes, I can motivate you, I can encourage you. But if you do nothing about it, then my job means absolutely nothing. So transformation is a change. You're being changed from within. And I think about a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. That is the purpose of this podcast here. So the question that I have for you guys, and I want you to really think about it, even if you have to pause and reflect and think and just spend some time asking yourself this question, because we think we know, but we actually have no idea. And there is something really important about being intentional about asking yourself this question. This is the starting point, and this is quite literally the starting point of where it all starts. If you want to have clarity, if you want to get unstuck, if you want to move and progress more than you've ever progressed before, this is where we're starting. And the question that I'm going to ask you guys is, drum roll please, what do you want? Now, before I dive further into that, I'm asking you, what do you want? Now, this could be, what do you want in life? What do you want in your health? What do you want in your business, in your career, in your marriage, in your finances? What do you want? What I'm not asking you is, what do you think you should be doing? Or what does your mum say you should be doing? Or what does society say you should be doing? What does society want from you? What does your family want from you? What does your husband or your spouse or your neighbor? I'm not asking you what they want, because it's easy to do things based on what you've been told or what other people have said you should be doing, or what you've seen other people doing. Now, putting those aside and putting yourself in a vacuum for a moment, outside of the external influences, outside of the naysayers and the things that you've been programmed to believe or think that you want, I'm asking you quite simply, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want out of your life? What do you want to have achieved by the time that you are no longer on this earth? What do you want to be known for? What do you want from life? Now, these are really difficult questions to ask. Some people may be able to answer them like that because they've thought about it. But actually, some people may think, oh, I don't know, I've never really thought about that, or I've never really had to think about that. So I ask you today to spend time and really process and really ask yourself, what do you want? I would encourage you to get a notebook, get some space where you can write down. We're in a digital age and people have their notes on their phones and have all these things. But if you can, write it down, because I believe there's so much power in writing things down. But if you can't, just go on your notes or whatever and actually answer that question. What do you want? What does Rodnan Tabini want? And I remember leaving the first week where I took my career break, actually just being so lost and being so like, okay, I've done this thing. What do I do now? What do I want to do? What do I enjoy doing? What should I be doing? And really just going back to basics. I found that a lot of the things that I was doing because it was what I thought, like I should be doing this. I don't want to do it, but I'm supposed to be doing it. From, how I raise my kids to my relationship with my husband and my relationship with my friends. I had to really put down, like it was a spider diagram, and put all the different elements of my life and ask myself, what do I want from each and every section of this? What do I want from my marriage? What do I want for my health? What do I want for my career? What do I want for my life? What do I want for every single thing? And like answering that question. And for many of those things, I didn't have anything that I'd never really thought about it. I'd never asked myself that question, so I didn't know. So I had to do some work and identify, what do I want? Putting other things aside, what do I want? And the beauty about the starting point and this space is, it's a space where you discover yourself, you uncover parts of you. It's a safe space for you to be creative, to ask yourself questions, and to really reflect and evaluate on your life. Like, for where you are right now, are you happy with where you are? If not, why not? What can you do now to change that? All of these questions we're going to be asking ourselves and putting in the work, because this is the starting point. Before you go high, you have to go deep. So before we talk about making profit and doing all of these things, we have to do a work in us and really identify certain limiting beliefs, or identify beliefs or thoughts that we have about ourselves, and then the other things will come. So we're intentionally taking the time to focus on ourselves and ask these questions, because you can't make profit if you don't even know what your business idea is, if you don't even know what you want out of life, you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing or what you want to do, but you can't even get there. So this is a whole journey, and the first question is, what do you want? And in order, just asking that alone can be really difficult. So I'm going to ask you some sub questions that you can ask yourself in order to ask yourself this main question of what do you want? And these are some of the things that I would ask myself when I was way back when. And the first thing is, what's important to you? What are your values? Every company, every organization has a set of values that they live by. They have missions, they have visions, and they have value systems. And these are the things that are important to them. These are the things that it's like their moral compass. These are the things that they live by, that they abide by. So what's important to you? What are your values? What are non-negotiables in your life? What do you value in life? What is important to you in life? And I guess I won't share all, but I'll share a few things that are important to me in my life when it comes to business, when it comes to just my life in general. Time, I value time. I don't want to be chained down to a desk. I don't want to be chained down to somewhere where I have to work for 40, 50, 60 hours. I don't, like, personally, that's not what I want to do. I value my time. I want the flexibility of working anywhere in the world. I want to be able to be in Mauritius but still doing business meetings or seminars or attending events when I can. But I don't want to have to be in one location at for the next 50 years. Like, that's very important to me. What is important to me is my family. So nothing is above my family when it comes to priorities, when it comes to money, regardless of, like, someone can offer me $1 million to be away from my family for 3 years and I wouldn't take it. Why? Because my family is important to me. I cherish spending time with my kids. I value spending time with my family and my husband and building memories. So my family is important to me. I guess these are just some examples. When I say what is important to you, is freedom important to you, is being creative important to you, is health important to you. Begin to write down what is important to you. What do you value? What are your anchors? And what's important to you will begin to be your anchors. These are the things that keep you grounded. They keep you stable. So what is important to you? The next thing is, what are your strengths and what are your talents? What are you good at doing? Now, I did a really cool exercise when I was doing this. I went and I asked 5 of the most important people in my life. I went and I asked them, what am I good at? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And they had to answer. So I went to those 5 people. You know who you are. Shout out to you. And thank you for answering that. And I just had to, I answered it in myself, but I wanted to see myself from other people's lenses. So I collected all of that information and sat down and said, okay, so this is what I'm good at. This is what other people say I'm good at. These are my strengths. These are my weaknesses. What can I do with that? A lot of people said talking. I like to talk. I love talking. Okay. And there are loads of things that I can do with that. For one, I'm on a podcast right now because I was able to identify my strengths, identify what I'm good at, and begin to leverage that. So when you have a list of your strengths, for some people it could be listening, for some people it could be talking, for some people it could be cooking, it could be being empathetic. It doesn't have to be this big strength. It could be something so small as, I give the best hugs, or I am always a shoulder to cry on. That was probably one of the most important things for me, because I was like, oh, okay. I'd never really thought about it. And interestingly enough, I do this exercise as a coach with my coaching clients. And it's always something that people are surprised by, but not surprised by. Identifying, number one, what's important to you. Number two, what are your strengths? What are you good at doing? And number three, what kind of environment do you thrive in? What kind of environment makes you happy? Are you best outdoors? Are you best in an office? Are you best, speaking publicly on a stage? What is your environment that you think, right, I will thrive in this environment? I love speaking. Like, put me on a stage, I'll do my thing. Put me behind a desk all day, I might not thrive. So you have to understand who you are and where you work best in. And some of us are in jobs right now where we're not thriving because it's not our environment. We're not supposed to be there. We're not supposed to be doing that thing. And there's a disalignment, unalignment, whatever. You're not in an alignment with your true self, with who God called you to be. So, what environment do you thrive best in? What environment are you most excited in? What environment makes you happy? There are certain environments, like I love doing this. I love speaking. I'm not on a stage, but I'm talking and I know that people are listening. I love this kind of thing. I also equally love being in quiet environments. So, knowing yourself and identifying what environment do you work best in will help you identify your purpose, identify your passion, and really turning that into profit. Because why would you put a fish in a tree? That fish is not going to thrive. If you put an elephant underwater, that elephant is not going to thrive. And many of us are just in the wrong environments and we're not thriving and wondering what's happening. You're not in the right environment. So, what environment would work best for you? Note that down, write it down, and think what could you do that with? Like, how could you leverage that? I have a whole list, and I probably would make it into some sort of resource. What impact do you want to have on others? Now, this varies. Some people don't want to have impact. Some people want to be the next Mother Teresa. Some people want to impact one person, depending on what you enjoy doing. What impact do you want to leave on other people? If you are reading your eulogy, the thing where people read when you die, basically, what do you want that to say? Now, this could be a bit grim, but I mean, we're all going to die one day. And this is something that we think about in order to get from where we are now to that point. Like, there is time and there is space for us to create and be that version of ourselves. So, what do you want? What legacy do you want to leave on this earth? What do you want to be known for? Do you want to be someone who is a comedian, who makes people laugh, who brings joy into the room? Do you want to be someone who makes the best cakes and when people eat them, they feel so good and they're uplifted? Do you want to be someone who's known for inspiring people and motivating people and getting people unstuck? Do you want to be someone who's known for helping solve medicine in the world and curing people and giving back in that way? There are so many things on this earth that we could do that we aren't doing at the moment. So I ask you again, what do you want to be known for? What legacy do you want to leave on this earth? And then actually, I have to say this one because this is and also one of my favorites. And the last one I would say is, what would you do if time and money was not a factor? If you had an infinite amount of resources, what's the thing that you'd be like, I would do this easily? I would do this all day and every day without limits. What is that thing? What's the thing that gives you a fire in your belly? The thing that makes you excited? The thing that makes you want to get out of bed at night? The thing that makes you come alive? The thing that makes you feel alive? Even if you weren't getting paid, you would think, I can do this every day. I can do this all day. If you had the next 60 years to do that thing, what is that thing? Or what are those things that you say, I can do this without even being paid, without having all the time in the world, I would still choose this over and over and over again. What is that one thing? For me, I would have to say, oh, this is an interesting, I have a few things, but one of the things that I could do if time, money and time were not a factor is I would be traveling the world and empowering young people in many different ways. I would be traveling all around, particularly Africa. Like, I have such a heart for Africa. I'd be traveling around the world and just telling young people that they can do it. That's like the most simplest of messages. I would be telling the youth that they can do it, that they are important, that they are valued, that they can do whatever they put their minds to. They can be whoever they want to be. They can do whatever they want to do. Like, breaking limits of people is one thing, not even just youth, but people in general. Breaking limitations, limiting beliefs, breaking mental barriers, breaking like bondage from people, and like just pushing them to be their best version of themselves, pushing them to their passion, pushing them to their purpose, working with people on a one-to-one basis, on a group basis, like whatever it is, doing things like this online. That is what I would do if time and money were not a factor. But that's what I'm starting to do more now. So I ask you again, what would you do if money and time were not a factor? And this is where you begin to really like, everyone has their own thing. Everyone has the thing that they're drawn to. Everyone has their thing where they're like passionate about. They have a dream. Everybody has a dream. And everyone's dream is different because that's how we're wired. I believe that God created everybody with a sense of purpose, with a sense of assignment. And everybody's assignment is different. completely different. Mine will not be the same as yours. You might think, oh, I can't think of anything worse than what she's talking about, but that's your thing. So it's all about identifying what your thing is and running with that thing. So yeah, those are my, I don't know, I think 5 things to think about when you're thinking about what do I want? What do you want out of life? What do you want the remainder of your life to look like? What do you want to do with your time? And when you can ask yourself and really answer that question, what do I want? Your time management is now different because you have a sense of understanding of I should be doing this, why I need to be doing this is how I'm going to use my time. I'm not going to spend all day every day binging Netflix because this is what I want. I'm not going to spend all my money on Pretty Little Thing or on Boohoo because this is what I want. I need to be investing in this and this. A lot of the time people do things because there's no vision. And the Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. When you don't know what you want to do, you will fall for anything. But when you start to get a picture, when you start to get a bit clearer on what it is that you're supposed to be doing, you get a sense of purpose. You get a sense of, okay, so this is, I'm in the right direction. This is the direction I'm supposed to be on. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And your values shift. The way you use your time shifts. The way you spend money shifts. The way that you communicate with other people shifts. So that's why we're putting in the work at the beginning and asking ourselves these questions that can be a bit uncomfortable, that can be a bit, oh, I'm not sure, so that when we're now talking about profit, you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You are so clear on what it is that you want that if anybody else was to come and tell you otherwise, you'll be like, no, honey, I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly why I want to do it and how I'm going to do it. And when you get to that point, you become unstoppable. You become a force to be reckoned with. And of course, profit is going to come. Money is going to come because people are attracted to people who know what they're doing, who are so sure in their calling and in their purpose and in their passion, and who have packaged it well. Like, money will come. Money has to come in a space like that. So again, I leave you with this. What do you want? Spend some time again writing, journaling, reflecting, and ask people that are close to you as well. Ask them questions. What am I good at? Like, up until this point, what have I achieved? Get other people to help you if you're feeling stuck. I'm sure you have a community of people who will be very willing to help you with that. And actually, if you say, I genuinely don't know what I want, this is the perfect time to start experimenting with different things. Try new things, try doing things, and see if you like it or you don't like it. We live in what can be such a boring time. We wake up at the same time every day, eat the same food every day, go to the same routine to work, sit in the same cubicle, speak to the same people, come back home, eat the same dinner, sleep in the same bed. It is so routine. Life can be so routine, but actually, I encourage everybody who's listening to me, who's watching me, to get creative and to start doing things that are out of the box, that are things that you wouldn't normally do, to get some spark and some excitement and some passion back in your life. Because, oh my goodness, I remember thinking, this is really depressing. And I changed that. I started going to kickboxing. I started traveling a lot more. I started cooking different things. And I started taking ownership of my own life. So I encourage you, try new things. Try walking a different route to work. Something as small as that. Try eating something different. Just try different things and explore and have fun with it. So whilst you're asking yourself the question, what do I want out of life? It shouldn't be serious exercise. Have fun with it. Explore. Get a vision board or something, or get a whiteboard mind map and just have fun from it. And use that time wisely to explore, to uncover, and begin to understand yourself a lot more. I always tell myself, like, I'm dating me. And I don't mean that in the world can take that into and be like, oh, she's married to herself or she's dating herself. What I mean is when my husband and I were getting to know each other, we would go on dates and we would ask each other questions and really want to know the other person. But we don't do that with ourselves. When I say I'm dating myself, what I mean is I'm really trying to understand who is Rodna. Rodna is ever evolving, and the person I was a year ago is not the person I was 2 years ago, is not the person I'm now. Trying to understand the ever evolving versions of myself, because when I can understand myself, I can position myself and articulate myself and market myself in a certain way because I know my purpose, I know my passions, and I would turn that into profit. But if I don't know who I am and I'm still thinking of myself as 5-year-old Rodna, there is a lack of alignment, and what we're doing is aligning parts of you together so you don't feel like a fake or a fraud. So I look forward to, and drop down in the comments, like, When you've done the exercise, what have you come up with? Share it with us. We're a community of people who are on this journey with you. So share it. Don't be shy. Don't be scared to share your findings.